Altogether Now was one of the first expeditions completed by XP students. It involved them exploring what makes a successful community and covered national curriculum standards across English, geography, history and art. This film will look at the journey of the expedition, from the concept through to the final product, a book.
Well, this expedition relates to the real world because our authentic product was a book that the kids actually published and put together with their thoughts and reflections about what makes a successful community. In addition to that, we'd also written letters to various famous people and politicians so that we could get their views about what they felt made a successful community. And you can see some of their replies in the book. The expedition for Year 7s was really challenging, and it got the students to think about some really difficult concepts about community and what kind of factors are needed to potentially make a community successful.
The first week of the expedition involved students looking at maps of Doncaster and identifying how it has changed over time. They also began reading the novel Seed Folks. Students performed a gallery walk through the school corridors, looking at images of inner city allotments, and then discussed how these related to Seed Folks. At the end of the first week, the guiding question was revealed: what makes a successful community? Students discussed what a community was and went on fieldwork exploring the local area, taking pictures and notes of what they noticed, which would be later used in a photo journal. During the second week, students learnt the key features of a formal letter, and using these skills wrote a letter to a public figure asking their opinion on what makes a successful community. Students finished reading Seed Folks and began reading The Giver whilst thinking about the community in the novel.
The students read some really difficult texts, so they were immediately plunged into fiction and non-fiction texts that were really challenging and that really made them think about what made a successful community.
The third week involved students preparing and asking questions about communities to experts Liam Scully from the Doncaster Rovers Education Foundation and XP's Community Governor Norman Edmondson. Students read an article on the London riots and watched a film on Penguin Community and discussed as a class their thoughts on these communities. Week 5 saw students continuing to read The Giver and reflecting on the novel and the community within it. The rest of the week was spent drafting their reflective piece, which looked at what social, environment and infrastructure factors they thought had an effect on how successful a community was. The last 2 weeks, students worked on redrafting their reflective piece and produced a mural which visually represented what they thought a successful community was. At the end of the expedition, a book launch team was formed to design the layout of the book, look at financing behind producing the book, arrange for the book to be printed, and organise the book launch evening. The first XP product was produced.